Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Opus Magnum. Let's hop in. So, I guess next one we're doing is the Mist of Hallucination. With any luck, we might be able to get through like 3 of these puzzles in one episode. When you first suggested getting a mannequin, I thought you were joking. I wasn't. It was useful for finishing Claire's dress, wasn't it? Yes, it was, but I hardly expect you to consider such matters. Now that the dress is done, we could dispose of it. No, I have a use for it just as soon as I finish this formula. Should I be alarmed? No, or maybe. Maybe, but only a little. So, no real story there as far as the mist of hallucination. I guess the idea is that they're going to use the mannequin to make people hallucinate that it's alive. That'd be my guess. This symbol here is 10. I'm having to remind myself of what these are. And this is lead. Okay, good. No big deal there. So, I suspect what they want us to do is probably put this here. Be ready to put this here. Be ready to put this here. And I'm just going to pan the whole screen because I've once again forgotten the whole idea of having to combine things first. This would do here, this would do here. So there is a space and a space and time where you could use all of this. And arguably, there's just never going to be a scenario where that isn't also the truth here. Is that you could pretty much always use a little bit more space and a lot more cycles in time to move items around. I mean, this really is just going to lean into something like this. So, I think my instinct is telling me what I should do is probably go for cycles efficiency. Like this. And is there a way to be more efficient here? We may not need this one. Let's just start with something fairly simple. Just to get rid of everything on the front end. We'll take one here. We'll go plus. We'll reset. Nope. We will go plus 2. And then we will extend and reset. Then we'll take 1. And then we'll go plus. And then we'll reset. And then we'll take 1. And retract, and at that point I mean, I just think I'm gonna have to use some of the space. Like, theoretically, I think I probably could move this here and save a whole bunch more space. But could I, like, put this here and save some space? No. Because I could get really weird with the twistiness of all of this, certainly. And there's no specific reason why any piece has to cover or hover over these two pieces. Something does have to hover over these pieces. I think for safety's sake, you probably don't want your connector here, because then you won't be able to bring something in place later on. So, yeah. Although, arguably, maybe you make something like this. No, that's probably not the right move. I mean, there might be solutions here to move this around a little bit more, but let's just solve it. Like, once again, it's probably not worth the effort to agonize over removing a few spaces of area, or removing cost, or removing cycles. These are all things we could try, but things that aren't worth trying. Alright. Yeah, I think for the number of steps sake, though, I am going to just put this here. Retract it. Put it. Put it in one positive spot. And then reset. And then what I wanted to do is go ahead and not pick up where it resets, but instead retract. And this would be great if you could just reset your reset point at this point. But I don't see any way in which you really accomplish that without doing something that would just be incredibly complicated. Plus drop minus plus and pivot one way, then drop minus grab, and then plus and then drop then minus rotate the other direction, pick up a item. No, I don't think you pick up an item yet. I think you have to extend, then pick up an item, then retract. And see, I'm just writing this code in my head at this point, not thinking things through any further than that. I think at this point you pivot and So this would be facing here, it would be here. It would have retracted, it would have gone here. It pivot. At that point you let go. You go -1, just a ridiculous amount of code. You unpivot, which that should be over this one. And then grab. I think the number of pivots here are probably 2, not 1. If I was to guess. Grab plus pivot, drop, minus, pick up, plus, and reset. That is a ridiculously long bit of code with no testing whatsoever. Let's see if this works. Nope. We needed a plus, then a retract, and then another plus, and a reset, which, man, I might as well just leave several gaps in the code, because anytime I potentially have to tweak something, I'm gonna have to drag an entire screen worth of code. So we're trying to keep an eye out as far as... See, that was wrong. Well, maybe not. We just used the reset to come back that way when we could have undone that a little bit easier. Okay. Alright. Go ahead and drop this. And then we'll just put a minus. Then we don't have to have that retract. And this time, instead of using a plus, we'll rotate. That way we're out of the way. Of course, if we're going to do that, then it stops being go minus, and instead becomes rotate. Instead, to get back to where you are. As you probably can tell, today's a bit of a fresh day for me mentally, so this would have been a spot where we would have needed to pivot it the other direction. Well, just add a pivot. That should be fine. Actually, it's probably 2 pivots. Like, at this current step, you are using up this area. There might be a way to not use up this area and use less of the area, but whatever. we needed another minus. Like, there's a slight danger of bouncing it into things that will be pretty much eliminated. Okay, so now we're using this spot. And that shouldn't be a pivot. If anything, it should just be, well, it actually should be a pivot, but needs to be extended first. See if that works. And now it's all down to debugging. Less than 10 minutes to write incredibly complicated code, and then 40 minutes to debug it and undo all of your mistakes or your grand ambitions. Okay, I don't know if that's in the right spot. And that is definitely not the right thing at that point. Swing back. Retract before you grab. We'll see how that works. I definitely feel like I'm going to get into the weeds very quickly here, trying to reduce the amount of area it touches. Like, I think we've got cost down. And yeah, that one just needs to rotate the other direction. Or pivot the other direction. And see, I don't even know if I need the next bit of the track at all. We might be able to remove some track and save some money. Like, I've made the pattern. So let's go for finances. Get rid of this piece of track. Now, arguably, does it really make this the cheapest still? Because I wonder if perhaps you could run this specifically just with a lot of rotations instead and get rid of one more bit of track. Or if there is something here that is overly complicated. Yeah, it seems like you might, if you just pivot always, you could get rid of another bit of track. Right now the area is at 38. Wish I could step back. So if that works, then there should be one here that works like this. Let's see if that does it. And if you were here, maybe you could just then extend it here so that it would be down this way. I don't know if that's specifically going to save you any real area. I mean, it might. Okay. So go here, go here. Instead, go here and extend. And then it would just be a matter of, instead of having a plus here, always having a rotate. Let's see how that works. Well, it falls apart at the beginning here. And that means I'd have to recalculate several things because I need to be able to get this one to reach here. And I think what you would probably do is you probably would take this and put it over in kind of like this pattern, and then put this here. But in an effort to just kind of finish this game, let's just spend a little bit more money and get to the solution. So get rid of that, put a plus back. Let's see if we can debug and follow the code. That's good. That's good. That's still good. That's fine. That's fine. Where are we? Put these all in the wrong direction. But every time I make a change now, as we are now into like stage 2 debugging versus just what I would guess would be a stage 1 debugging in my mind. Of course, I'm just making up these stages off the top of my head. But yeah, I would say once you have the feeling that it should work and it isn't working, that's when you're at stage 2 debugging, the frustrating part. And I missed something there. Something knocked us off course in the last step. Retract, grab, go forward, forward, retract. And see, at this point it should not be minus, it should just be rotate back, grab, and then, or grab, rotate forward, plus extend. Alright. Minus, rotate back, grab. I guess rotate forward. And go plus. Pivot, extend. I don't know if we really need to extend, but might be as worth it as anything else. I think that's a pretty bad placement. Extend. Let's get rid of that rotate and just drop it. You definitely add a lot to the area as you move things around, and I don't imagine. Wow, something still didn't work right. You let go here, you go back 1, rotate, let's just go back 2 just to make sure. I think with rotating, you kind of have a high chance of that always being the problem. Alright. I kind of feel like all this code here may be redundant code that's not necessary. Or if it isn't redundant code, then I'm yeah, that minus. Okay, I see. This minus should be here. This pivot should be here. And then that pivot may be there. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to have a solution here that isn't quite perfect with savings in cost, isn't going to be quite perfect with savings of, yep, let's just call that a day. Isn't going to be quite perfect with savings of other things. savings of space. Now I would say there's a decent chance this is kind of the best way to build this. That would just be 2 places you'd hit. Let's see if that works. Or if I've got it in the wrong place still. But the obvious savings here is to rewrite the code to get rid of this. As far as cost. And then, yeah, you've just got a lot of spaces here. And I don't know if there really is a solution here where you could get rid of the track completely and just have one extendable arm rotating all the way around that central part. I suspect that there might be a case of that. At this level, we are only using 28 area, which might... The game may just tell us that's the lowest anyways, and we're using 85 gold. Number of cycles is really high. Yeah, as far as cost goes, apparently that is the lowest. And see, that's hard to even believe. Like, because what that implies to me is that there is no way you could write the code to do that. And I just don't really believe that to be the case. I feel like you put these 2 here, would you ever be able to grab the 3rd? That might be the problem. Is that there may not be a way, regardless of how you set up your design. Nope. I think if you set up your design like this, though, that would work. So you can reach this one, you can reach this one, you can grab one, and you can reach there. Meanwhile, you can put that here so it's not in the way. You can grab any component and, let's see, put it here or here. But you could do this and this, and then you could build this piece later. That probably wouldn't be in the way. You can grab this part here and here. So then it only becomes a question about, can you build it with these 2 pieces without it crashing into this piece before you pick up that piece. Like, for cost, I think this is the solution. And then the final solution potentially ends up somewhere here, where you just shove everything down that way. And that's, I don't think, particularly too different if you're looking for a real solution here. As crazy as that might seem, this may be either this pattern or this pattern may be it as far as space savings. There may be very little. Let's see, if I am here and I'm putting something here, kind of feels like you could pick this up, swing this here, put it here after connecting to this part. Main thing is just getting this piece and these 2 pieces gone before you start to really pivot things into way. I would conservatively assume that in this design you're going to probably end up lining up on this, but I wouldn't be surprised if you never touched this one or something over here or over here, never particularly hit this or these two or this. That would definitely be a lot of code. Then if we want to reduce the number of cycles on this, I think you probably just go straight for another conveyor belt concept. You take this pattern, which is there. You take this pattern, which is there. Let's put that there. And then you take this pattern, which is there. Take something like this. You start with something like this and something like this, and that's just your standard pattern of grab, extend, reset, and then staggered grab, extend, reset, and that's literally all it's going to do. Just have to stagger it a little bit more. Like the number 3 would at about this point grab, rotate, and reset, and that is literally, I think, all number 3 would do. It's gotta, I guess, stagger it a little bit further. Okay. This one would start earlier by grabbing, extending, and resetting. Then probably actually, I'm putting the wrong one in the wrong place. Let's just pretend like this is here and this is here. Is there any way to undo that? Nope. Let's just, since I'm not going to do all this code anyways, just pretend like this piece is here and this piece is here. I would have to move this over here after the fact, and then just redo everything so that at the end of the day this piece would get extended by an extension arm. It would have to exit here. We'd have to have an extension arm pushing it down to this spot. Anyways, 5 grabs, extends, and then resets. And last piece of code at this point would probably be to grab, retract, and I wonder if we can rotate twice and reset in time. Seems like a kind of tall order. But I don't know how else you're going to pull this off. You kind of need this to do two things. But they may have enough time to do that. Anyways. Grab, retract, and reset. You know what? I could just pivot at that point. Instead of rotating twice, I should just pivot. Rotate once, pivot, reset. Meanwhile, I think this one needs to repeat. No, I can't pivot. So what I need to do is do this first. Take this code. Get rid of the pivot. Set that up. Set it up so it does rotate twice before resetting. And then at this point, repeat is not necessary. So that does everything except for explain how anything moves. Does this one really need to wait? I think it does. Do these need to wait? It kind of doesn't even matter if they wait or not. Okay. When this one gets pushed up, it needs to be able to kind of rotate, pivot and rotate in some form or fashion that is accurate. So we would have to figure out what the rotation is. Extend. So we're going to add some more code here. It still feels like this one is the one that's going to be doing a lot. And I don't know how you would add more efficiency to something like this. You could grab something here when everything is close to being done. See about here. And then you could see about extending this further. If you could. That's about as far as that's gonna go. We'd have to delay it a little bit. While we are waiting for other things to happen. I want to do this efficiently, so I don't want to willy-nilly this solution. It does feel like 5 could extend here and could extend here, but that's about it. Only this one, number 4, which is already overburdened with doing a lot of other things, would be capable of pulling it forward. Stair, an angle here. I guess we could grab this at this point with the number 7 and move forward. Grab, extend, reset. That might be all we really need. Would have to delay this a little bit more. I think this actually does still need 3 extensions. Okay. That seemed to work. And there's really no room for speeding up this process. Of course, I am seeing some places where you could fairly obviously speed up this process, and we're not getting this piece where it would need to go, which means we would have to have something here that could grab this one and swing it into place fairly quickly and put it here. And we'd have to rearrange this. Which, that's not actually particularly too big of a deal. I think the code stays exactly the same in this case. We do rearrange things that way. Alright. Only slight change I want to do here is have number 1 start up here, put it here, and then have number 3 grab number 1, and then have number 1 repeat fairly quickly. See if that works. Need a little bit more time. Alright. Now, so at this point, you have to be particularly careful to grab, rotate, and rotate out, and then extend and reset. And if this is too late, it will get caught. Yep. And if it's too early, it won't grab it. I also may just have to change the order in which things are done. Maybe even add a bit of delay to it. Yeah, we've hit the wall as far as efficiency there. So then 5 just needs to happen later, which frankly doesn't change too much. Just put 5 there. The code doesn't matter. Well, just can't have it overlapping things. There we go. And that's 19 cycles for 1. Multiply that by 5 and you should get roughly 95 cycles for, or multiply it by 6, I guess. So and that did get our cycles lower, so then it would just be a matter of trying to optimize this. Almost certainly the optimization is in number 4. There's got to be a way that this number 4 can act faster. Let's see. Number 9, which will change to number 5. Grabbed, extended, and then simply pivoted once, and then reset. That maybe save some code. Grab, extend. Something here at this point should be grabbing and extending. I mean, you kind of have a maximum here on number 1, but yeah, pretty much as soon as this extends, Then all of this timing, I think potentially it's unnecessary. Number 9's code is too early. Can't do anything about that. And see, this really may just be a case of hurry up and wait, to use an old military term, where because something is waiting on something else, there simply may not be an opportunity to let anything else happen. Right. So which ones are colliding? Probably this one. Seems to be 6 and 5 that are conflicting. Really can't be 4, I think. It might be. I don't even think we're getting to 7's movement, because 7's way up here. Why is 5 trying to repeat its code so quickly? Like 6 can't go forward until this one gets in place. I just don't see a scenario where that ever would be the case. 1, 2, 3. Can this reach where it needs to go? No. I could see 8 being replaced, so it just retracts everything 2, or retracts everything 1. Yeah. Just start with that. That just visually gets it out of the way while not really changing anything. Number 1's not going to do anything. Where's number 1? It's like way up here, and it's not crashing with its repeats. I'd say number 7 is fairly quickly, like 5 and 9. 5 needs to happen first, then 9 needs to happen later. And then 7, I think, can probably extend later. It's pushing everything forward, but do I really need everything here to be pushed forward by 7? I don't think I do. I think you potentially find the spot when that is done, which is probably somewhere about there. Let's pan the screen because there's no reason to. Why is 5 repeating? I mean, what in the world's happening here that it thinks it should be repeating when we still have other code to activate? Yeah, this is just another example of the game not really knowing what it's doing. I don't know how to put it any other way. This encoding process is bunk. Just utterly and totally bunk. The way it's compiling and interpreting things is ridiculous and inconsistent. And I don't think that's just because I don't understand things. Or I don't understand like the process or anything like that. I think that it does just specifically act differently in different scenarios. Let's see if we can optimize here. And the idea that you can only use one of these period overrides is kind of ridiculous. Alright. That certainly feels like it's doing something in every cycle. But I still wouldn't be surprised if that is not the lowest number of cycles. We've got it down from 97 to 90. And so now you're just getting into the minutia and the mud of saying, well, is there possibly anything here that is fairly realistic? I guess 6 could move a little bit quicker. See if that happens. Not that quick. Yeah. My fear here, and watch this is just gonna somehow stop working. Why 5 specifically does its code then and doesn't wait for everything else. It seems like it probably balances the first 5 lines of code and doesn't balance anything else. That's the only thing I could guess. 5. We'll add 1 there and see if that changes anything. The problem here is there might very well be another solution, but the solution might be at just a massive level of insanity in which you would have to try and build 2 of these at once so that you're doubling up on your production. And it's just like every other theoretical solution I've thought of, where yes, in theory you could have it just working faster. There we got the code down to 75 from 90, and that's still not good enough. So there is some solution, but it seems to me like it is below 50 steps. Alright. So how do you get 50 steps here and get everything in place where it needs to be. I don't know, like, seems like 7 could possibly happen one step faster. Let's see if that works. Well, a couple things of 7's actions could happen faster, but not everything of 7's action can happen faster. Is there possibly a rotate or a pivot that could be reduced? I'd have to really question it. Like, yeah, you have release, retract, rotate, rotate. I got to 75 again. Yep. When you actually look at the code here, like a repeat, which would be pick up, extend, reset, and then the reset step 2. Like, really getting rid of any of the code here is not going to even matter, because this part in particular has to just wait. And I don't think there's something as simple as pulling everything this direction 1. Don't think that's going to work. I think we'll have a collision. Well, I'll be darned. I guess that's what you call lucky. And that gets it down to 74 though, so is there really much savings to be had there? That is, I think, as far as you can take it, though. And what I feel like is crazy is that there is a potential case where you have, see if we can just reduce this by 1 and see if it works now. Like, just physical placement of where things are, and maybe with the physical placement of where things are at 69 now, which I guess if we can just continuously reduce the code, I kind of wonder if maybe my reliance here of moving number 5 into place has to be like the first thing that happens, but it kind of does have to be the first thing that happens. It needs the most amount of room. It takes the 2 steps where everything else takes less steps. But I don't think you can move this timer back one and then move everything back here one and have everything still work. And 8. I don't think you can move back. Nope, you move 8 back, it moves too fast. Yeah, if there was just a quicker way to get this piece here, that would be your step that you would need to try and undo. Which maybe there is a quicker way to get that piece there. Can we potentially grab one here and rotate here? Yes, we can. That then lets us get rid of that and get rid of that and just have that. Of course, it's going to crash into things now. Which then potentially means 4 would have to wait. Although maybe it doesn't matter if it waits. Nope, it just crashes into other things. So maybe if I did something like this and then did something like this, that would work. Arguably, I guess if you are going to use swing motions, there might be optimization simply in the actions. Like there might just be faster swing motions in the actions of arms. Number 9 now. But yeah, this is really unoptimized code, to say the least. Do we lose 3? Nope. Number 4. Grab at your convenience. Extend. Extend. And reset. I don't think that needs to repeat at that point. Okay. Well, we're back to working code. That's gotta stand for something. 8 is maybe needed to be delayed a little bit. Unfortunately, I feel like what I've probably done here is not optimize the code. I've just changed the physical layout. Yeah. 69. We've got the lowest we've ever been able to get it is 69. Play like this. You still run into that problem. And there's still really no explanation as to why you run into that problem. I feel like... No, you would have something crash there if you put an item there. Could potentially have this try and swing and grab this and push it this way, but you wouldn't be able to push it anyways. Pick up and extend. Does kind of feel like you could just have one here ready to put that in that spot instead of having number 3 come back and do this code. I don't know if that's really optimizing anything though. That's just saying at some point this new code could happen where you pick up and then rotate and then reset. Yeah, I don't know if I'm really saving any steps here. It kind of still feels like something is happening in every step. And it still feels like no matter what you do, you end up having 69 as your cycles. And the way it's interpreting these macros doesn't seem like there's a way to get around that. Particularly number 3 here just wants to reset and go back to the way things were. I suppose the coding here is a little bit better than if you had to just put pause, 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 pause as code. That would kind of suck too. It's this reset here. That's, I guess, your biggest deal is 7. So if you got rid of that and instead just put a drop here and then put 3 retracts here, and then just started with your code there, it's not really going to change much. does moving your code around like that actually make things more efficient? No. That took 79 cycles instead of 69 before. Which that makes that worse. Not better. I could grab here on 7 and then extend only 1. I mean, that would be slightly different. See if that works. Not retract. Extend. Five is still crashing into things. And for the life of me, I cannot figure out why. It's just like not listening at all. It's not even listening to this code anymore. Like either 10 is crashing into something, which maybe that's is what's happening. I feel like 10 could probably move fairly early. But at this rate, I would have to pretty much try 10 in almost every square. Which this is no proper way to debug a problem. Again, 5 being a problem. Just does not make sense. Oh, the code 5 wants us to do should not be resetting. And this is what kills a programming game, when you have something that is just not bug tested well enough. Like 8 is too early. Either 8 is too early, or the double extension is... Yep, we can't do the double extension here, so that doesn't work. Has to be there. Which means that has to be there. This is happening too quickly. And I've spent an hour and 25 minutes on one puzzle, and so I'm definitely not having the experience I was hoping for. And that's just back to 74. During the battle with House Colvane, I created a mist intended on making outposts inaccessible, even if we could not adequately defend them. Remember that. Are you playing a similar strategy? Something like that. The enclosed environment here is a better place for it anyway. I still can't imagine it delaying someone for long. It's not really for delaying. We should be long gone before anyone gets here. You have a more obscure purpose in mind? I do. You'll see. See, and then when you have a story here where he doesn't even explain what he's doing, that doesn't really mean anything. Timing crystals next, which would be quartz in real science and chemistry, which quartz at a specific temperature, kind of heated temperature, has a high level of accuracy in the number of 60 hertz, I believe it resonates at. There is older technology that's not used nowadays that would have a quartz crystal connected directly to a heater coil to help self-regulate itself. But nowadays you don't really need that level of accuracy, and quartz crystals aren't accurate enough for computers. In fact, what we even use right now for timing accuracy is not really accurate enough, and there is the beginnings of development if we don't just jump to something like quantum computing first. There's a point where we are going to potentially develop specific chips to have much higher levels of accuracy. Accuracy in time, often not a big deal unless you're connecting to the internet, which is what most people are doing. And to adjust for that, we have a lot of fuzzy logic algorithms, for lack of a better term, that don't actually look for exact pinpoint accuracy, particularly servers and multiple servers serving up the same page. For instance, a great example of that is, say you're on a website like eBay and you're bidding on something. Well, if your clock on your computer tells the server that you bid for the object 1 second earlier than every other computer, then you might win the bid. However, if it turns out you bid on the object on eBay 1 second later, then you maybe lost the bid, and they have to try and figure out who bid first when someone else is bidding, and their computer might be slightly off, even in nanoseconds. But that won't have probably anything to do with this game, and the timing crystal will probably be just a title and nothing else. I used to believe that alchemy could solve any problem, and you don't believe that any longer? Not at all. Look at all the good my alchemy has done thus far. Perhaps you picked the wrong problems to solve. At the university, there's this sense that nothing is beyond alchemical science. By learning to practice alchemy, you're achieving total mastery over the world. It's an appealing viewpoint. Appealing but wrong. This could be a fairly interesting story of Anataeus as a new alchemist, just falling deep into a addiction with alchemy and using it for every little problem, not realizing that you can't solve every problem with alchemy. Alright, so this is a metal and this is salt, so we're not going to be using any of this. Instead, imagine probably going for something not too unlike this. And this will require a very large arm. Arguably, we may have a problem even with that. We're going to have the very large arm here, which means we start something like here. Okay. And then the sodiums come into play. yeah. The pattern here, I think this might be a little bit much to try and create, would be to have this chunk here to this point, and then this chunk here. We may very well just have to experiment with how that's going to be done. Yeah, and I don't know if there's any reason to potentially do anything more than that, and arguably maybe you just need a track. Yeah, this is a really big device. But yeah. See how this works. Pick up. Rotate in that direction. Let's see. Maybe go to a plus. Maybe go to an extend. And then go to a reset. I think what we would want to do also is start here and then extend first, then grab. Not plus, extend first. That way we have a nicer position to now reset to. I don't know if this works, what I'm thinking next, but let's try it just so we gain some momentum. Pick up, rotate, and then plus, reset. Pick up, rotate. Let's see how that works. Went the wrong way, went the wrong way. Good. Okay. So then when we rotate that, is where it's going to get a little dangerous. We now need it to be ready. I feel like if you pivot here, you're going to hit something. If you pivot here, you're going to hit something. Honestly, I think you're going to hit something here anyways. So yeah. Questioning this quite a bit. You could put this here. You could put this here. And that gets, I think, a lot of it. This piece does need to move. So how do we do any of this so it doesn't just crash? Like even, how do you do it so it doesn't just crash even on that? Like, the spinning is going to be a nightmare. And I don't see a scenario where this does not spin unless we have something take the whole unit, rotate it this way, spin it, bring it back. And that would not be cheap on parts, nor would that be cheap on area. That's totally wrong, but whatever. Yeah, I wonder if the important parts aren't somewhere closer to this. Does kind of feel like that fills in part of your trouble, and that fills in part of your trouble. Just a question about how much code is this really going to take? Put something here, put something here. Pivot. I don't think that's supposed to extend now. Pivot plus. I think you probably want something like this. Yeah, I question maybe whether any of this really matters that much, but yeah, that's totally wrong. And I don't want to pivot at all. I want it to be a more accurate depiction of it. Okay. Put that one here. And pivot. Don't move forward. Extend. And drop. Okay. Pivot. Plus. Reset. Do that one. Put that one there. That may be all we need. Okay, the problem that you would definitely want for just more efficient code is you'd want to be able to get this piece here using some other arm so that you could just have your code repeat. But yeah, there's not really a way to do that. If you were going to do that, it would be a nightmare. It's going to be a nightmare one way or the other. But and here, I think we just drop. And then I think you extend, grab, pivot. And probably at that point, that's the reset part. And we're going to have to rewrite the entire code. Okay. Right. So at that point, we've made this part, which works fine if we put one here and I don't know how we get one there. We put one here and we pivot the opposite direction. But should we be pivoting the opposite direction? Or should we have done something different? Well, unfortunately, what we've done here is we still can't step backwards in the steps. Okay. Can we put something here? And there? No. Can we put something here? And there? No. Are we still running into the problem of potentially crashing into things when we pivot? I think yes. Enough that I think it probably is worth just putting like 5 pivots here. Well, this won't be efficient in cycles if this was the solution, but I guess this would work. If you now put a piece here and then told it just to pivot in a full circle. I mean, it's dumb. And probably not necessary. But we'll see. Reset. pick up, rotate, then okay. So reset here, and then have it pick up, and then rotate, and then drop, then go plus, then extend twice, then grab, and then pivot a bunch of times. And yeah, once again we are deep in the well of unmanageable code. Just in crazy code. You can't make variables, you can't name variables. There we go. That was what we wanted to test, is we've got to figure out a way to make this safe. Like completely safe. From collision. Which may just be a case of this. That being said, now we have to rewrite all the code. Anywhere we pivoted one way or we rotated one way, we now need to rotate the other way. And I guess we have to rotate twice. Which, that's no fun. Yep. And just repeat what I just said about insanely unmanageable code. Because it's just the beginning. Also, I guess we, in an effort to just save our sanity, should probably just make one that goes the other direction. That way we don't have to rewrite that code. These are definitely tricks we've learned over the course of playing this game, but it's also tricks that I've had to teach myself. We've never gotten any tips or hints or anything along the lines of like suggestions or even breadcrumbs to tell us we're doing the right thing. That was wrong. is this spot here supposed to go here? Or is it supposed to? One of these is wrong. I think. That gets put in the right position. This gets put right where I think it should be. That gets put there. I think these are just in the wrong position at this point. Start by making that combination. Actually, that wouldn't work too bad. You now take another one here, and then you take it one step further in that direction. And then you pivot it. Rotate. Pick up. Rotate. 2. Let go. Let go at that point. You should be in the right place. Extend, extend, grab, and you should really just be able to pivot 1. But we'll leave all the pivots. I don't see a scenario here. Okay. Pivot, pivot, and then a plus, then let go, and then a minus. Like, I don't see a scenario here where you're not going to end up picking up a ridiculous amount of area. Like that. Right. Pivot in the opposite direction. Get rid of the other pivots. Reset. And that's like 1/5 of the code if we're gonna do this cheaply. Okay. Next and next. Which kind of makes an argument, I think, that I might need something here, but I might not. I'm gonna just take that out of the loop for savings. This may be all we really need. So now it would be reset. And then pick something up. And then pivot. Extend. Reset. Pick it up. And pivot. And drop. And then extend with another extend, grab, pivot to next way. See if that gets us to the next step. There is 2 pivots that need to happen. Or 2 twists. And I have thoroughly messed up on like figuring out the difference between saying a pivot and a rotate also. And so now I am just very consistently saying pivot when I mean rotate, or saying rotate very rarely. I'm not making the mistake in the other direction very often, but okay, there's a problem. So how do we account for that? I think you just probably pivot once, then extend, then swing going forward. Which means the code's going to be a little bit different. But generally speaking, if you were programming these as functions, you would go back and you would just adjust your code so it does the same thing over and over again correctly. And even if you were programming macros, you would still want your code to do the same thing over and over again. Alright, and see, at that point, that creates this next bit. Okay. But the problem here is the gold. If you had magical gold alchemy that would spin in circles via remote control, or if you had a special platform that you could spin things without an arm being on it, or if you just had an arm that could pick up something and put it directly on top of itself, that would be interesting too. There's really just a ton of potential different ways this could work. I do have a potential concern here that maybe in the next step of code, which we're just gonna have to manually code, we might run into another problem because we've got to now rethink everything. I wish you could start here, but you can't, so I assume you reset at that point, and then kind of nothing connects. So probably would just be smarter at this point to pivot twice and do what we just did again. We can put a connector later down to connect everything up, and we may not even need it. We may just straight up spin everything in a circle once to make any final connections. Alright. So blindly we'll pivot one, then we will pick up one, we will, let's see, then rotate twice, extend and reset. Then we would pick up one, and then rotate twice, go plus, then reset, then grab one, rotate twice, go plus, and then reset, or not reset so much as just drop, and then extend, and then go minus, and then pick up, and then pivot twice, and then reset. And let's see if that works. Probably don't need a sound effect, particularly an annoying clicking sound effect every time you click the step forward button. Also, you can't hold down the button to do the whole steps thing. Extend. Needed to extend twice. Also, I don't think that works. Anyways. Yeah. The double pivot is too much. I think. See what that looks like. Okay. I shouldn't have stopped it there. So I'm out of order. I need to rotate the thing after I make the connection in the center ring. Okay. Okay. So then that would be something like this. And this is just gonna mess up the code like crazy. So let's not even rewrite the first cycle of code. At this point is when we need to let go, extend one, and pivot. you go. Extend one. Grab. Pivot. Reset. I think that would be right. Let's see if we've made too much of a mess already. I spent so much time messing with the first puzzle, now I don't feel particularly great. Yeah. This would be the next step. To grab, put one here, grab, put one here, and instead of extend, hit plus. And man, I really wish I could just jump to a section. Do this. You make this. Now, at this point is where you have to bring in another swing. One way or another. Honestly, doesn't even really matter which way do you do it, but you can't do that part, so I think for consistency's sake, probably would just want to pivot, rotate, extend, then rotate again, then reset. And that, put one there, then you reset and you grab, you rotate that much, you don't hit a plus, you instead go here and extend twice, and then you grab, then you pivot, and then you reset. Let's just hope that works. I know we're close to being done with this code, but we've got the general idea of the steps now. Not too bad of a shape now. Except I can't even keep this up. The salt at the top left there, I think is wrong. I don't think you do that. So from that position, let's just have you grab, extend, grab, pivot, reset. Okay. And then what I think we want to do, I'm just going to go by blind faith again here, is have one that rotates twice, goes to a plus, and then resets, then grabs, and then rotates twice, and then a plus, and then I think at that point you let go, go to the minus, extend, pick up, pivot it another direction, and reset. And let's just hope that works. Okay. So we had a bit of a mess up there, but yeah, we are back. We're still mostly on track. So we can just pick up. I think we're fine to simply rotate twice. And then extend, and then drop. Are we really ready to pivot again? I mean, it seems like we just pivoted. I mean, I think you are. Drop, extend, grab, pivot, reset. This feels like this is the furthest, longest amount of code by far so far in the game, in an effort to just keep everything simple and happening. Alright. What went wrong here? Can we even pan this while we're watching? I guess we can. And I suspect, assuming there is one more chapter, I suspect there is room for 3 or 4 more puzzles that are just super complicated, because this is one more of these really big areas, or big things that has to be designed. Right. Okay. At this point, it's where it needed to have extended and pivoted. I think more. Extended a second time and pivoted. But if it did pivot, then there would be kind of nothing you were building. So I think this is where the code is wrong. I think you probably just reset here. And then this code is right, and that would kind of make more sense. Yeah, I could imagine 3 or 4 more puzzles that just get bigger and bigger. And yes, I have this at a lower resolution, and I could turn up the resolution and regain a little bit of space. But it's not like I have a 2K monitor or a 4K monitor or anything like that. Okay. This is a problem. I hope this is the problem. And I don't know for certain if this would even handle a 2K or 4K resolution. My eyes really couldn't handle that. It wouldn't really address the elephant in the room as far as the fact that this code is always going to be ridiculously long, just the way it's been designed. The way that you can't have subfolders or functions or just anything. And the truth of it has to be mentioned that very few people actually program macros. There are some programs like Notepad++ that have the capability of making a macro, but most macros are incredibly rudimentary. They're a minefield of potential mistakes being made and repeated over many iterations. They just are not as good as programming in general. And even when I was in school being taught programming, while there was some macro software out there, one even came with Windows 95 called Macro Maker. It's not really worth it wasn't even then worth anybody's time to actually learn how to use the macros. Macros in general are kind of like a dumbed down language instead of a programming language for people who aren't programmers, and it just doesn't make sense in modern time that you would teach anybody how to use how to program in macros instead of just simply having people learn a simplistic programming language like Python, for instance, is not a difficult programming language, or even the Visual Scratch programming language would make a lot more sense than trying to teach people how to use macros. I suppose there might be some textbooks out there still trying to teach, people are still trying to teach out of, that might mention macros or try and teach them, but there is inherently a difference between a macro and a program. Programs have logic and intelligence. Macros are stupid. They just repeat actions regardless of the input or output. Ooh, that is a terrible example to use, so I will not use that. A car, I'll use a better example. A car programmed with macros, or given macros to follow, would be told to say just drive straight no matter what on the road, and that would be fine and all, unless of course there is a pothole in the road or the road collapsed or something like that. As soon as you run into that scenario, macros cannot detect or adjust for that scenario. There are cases here, it would probably confuse this game quite a bit if you did have that, where you could put a wait command to wait until a spot was empty, and in waiting till the spot is empty, you could then move the code further along. And yes, there is some cycles that you would use with a wait command, and so that might show that is not really the best way to potentially have a have your code work in some cases, but in many cases it would be the most readable way. Good code is easy to understand code, is a saying I've heard, and while you're often doing something fairly complicated, so the code is never really that easy to understand, it should be something to at least strive towards as a concept. I'm hoping that is right. Yeah, I think it's probably a little petty to say I don't like the music, but I kind of don't like the music. It repeating itself after a few seconds is the right way to do things, but ideally you would have a few songs that it would cycle through instead of just one, or one specific to specific puzzles. Let's see how this comes out. Like, this music would be fine if you could guarantee you're only going to spend a few minutes listening to it, but for a puzzle game where you're highly likely to spend a lot of time. Okay, now we've got a collision here. Ooh, and this is where it starts to get dangerous. Pick up. Rotate. Like, normally this would be a pick up, rotate, extend, rotate, reset. And then this would be a pick up, rotate, rotate. At that point, I think you drop it, and then I think you extend twice, and then pick up. And then the question is, how many rotations do we need? Let's give it 3. See if that all works. This is going to be incredibly slow as far as cycles goes, though. And you can kind of see that there's room for improvement just by spending more money on more mergers. Okay. I've put the rotation in the wrong direction. That seems weird. I don't understand why the rotations are that direction, but okay. Yep, my brain is turning to mush, I think. Like, we need 6 of these. This process is going to be even sped up long. And there's absolutely no room for improving your code when you have to go through long pictorial coding like this. It's just not reasonable. Yeah, now you have the collision, which means you are gonna just have a collision in a lot of places, and it's happening right here. And I don't think I don't think there's another way to deal with this. I think we're gonna have to put in some different code just to work our way around that problem. Like, if I was to pivot it, I could fill in the gap a different way at that point. That probably is just the easiest thing to do. Okay. So instead of that one, pivot that one. And see if that does what I think it's going to do. Yeah. And I wouldn't even begin to bother to try and do the mental gymnastics to try and have every movement the same for this final part. Okay. That was not quite what we wanted. That fixes that, that fixes that. So that should be good. And then I think what I want to do here is probably at that point drop, extend, minus, grab, pivot. And then reset. This probably isn't going to work, because then it would be pivoted. Yeah, let's just see what happens. It's been 2 hours and 30 minutes, and now I'm at the point where I'm mentally exhausted enough that I just want to be finished with this puzzle. And I don't want to end an episode without actually finding a solution here. And frankly, I don't care enough to try and make another solution on this. Drop. Extend. Probably need to extend twice. And we did a puzzle like this before, and I didn't really learn anything from it that I remember that would make something like this faster. I don't think there's really a trick to this. If there is. Okay. So, next step of this would be to pick up and go backwards, and we're just going to waste some space and rotate the other direction, which is going to suck, but whatever. And I just want an answer, so I'm going to go backwards and add to the track, so I can put one here and then here and then rotate it back this way. I mean, there might be a bit of a solution here if this was just stacked up diagonally also, but whatever. Okay. Pick up one. Go. Positive 3. Rotate 1. Extend. Reset. Pick up 1. Go positive. 3. See, I don't think if I made a connection here and didn't make a connection here and then it rotated, that would work. Not sure any of this is going to work. If I put one here, and then I rotated back the other direction, that would create a connection. But it would then just kind of kick the can further down the street. But honestly, I think that might be the best idea. Let's see. Drop. Extend. Pick up. And pivot back. Let's hope that this gets us one step further. Clearly this is not a smooth pattern though. Not something that shows any level of intelligence or wisdom as far as understanding how you would make this pattern. It was working very well for a while, but then you run out of steam at the point where you have to connect everything together. And there might be a way to make like this shape and then connect it later to that shape. Okay. So that's not the right thing to do. Reset. We'll try it, then pick up. Go plus. Plus. Rotate. Let go. And then go plus. Extend. Extend. Grab. And pivot. Let's hope that works. Of course, me hoping it works at this point is closer to just praying than actually thinking it's anywhere close to being ready. Because I've been doing this sliding action, I think that's where this all falls apart. I think it's falling apart somewhere around here. With this pivot. Yeah, because you put a piece here and then you slide it in that direction, this would never work. It only works because of the empty space. Once you fill up the pattern, that's when it fails. Okay. So, can I get this in place without crashing into something? No. We've got to go back further. This point here. Don't do this code. It's still probably not going to work. Yeah, I just want to give up at this point. But if I sleep on this, which I almost certainly will, I'm then going to come back to this and totally forget what's happening. There's gotta be a better way. Is the ultimate answer here. I think this is the answer, or at least it's the easiest answer here. Is let's see, where are we? I think at this point we do want to just pivot. Or you know what, reset and go to a negative spot here. Nope. Pick up first, then rotate so you're looking at this, and then if you go to a negative spot it would be right on top of that, so don't pick up yet. Rotate your arrow but don't touch anything yet, then go to a negative spot, pick up, then rotate. And so that would be at this position. That'll crash into something. That'll crash into something. That will crash into something. This will crash into something. This will crash into something. I don't think this helps. Is there a possibility of getting this out of the way? You know what? Do that. Yeah. Let's see. This one grabs. And then this one grabs here, and this one should pivot here. Is there any way we could move this whole thing out of the way? Sure, let's just grab the thing and move it one out of the way. Just move the whole thing out of the way so we can finish the components. Like, I just desperately want the code to be done at this point, so I just don't care how inefficient or how stupid the solution is. And since this game isn't really giving me achievements, which I hate to review a game based on its achievements, considering how achievements are dumb and nobody should care about them, but people do care about them. I care about them, unfortunately. I wish I didn't. But yeah, since this game is not rewarding me in any way with things like achievements or otherwise, I have really no motivation to do this better. Okay. I think you don't pivot. You move forward and then you reset, and then you pick up, you rotate, you extend, you rotate, and you reset. And then, yep, pick up, and you rotate, and you rotate, and then you like go plus, extend twice, grab, and go minus, and let's see if that works. This is definitely one of those games too that could desperately use some digital well-being programmed into it, just to straight up tell you to take a break. As annoying as that was first implemented in like the Wii, like the concept is not insane to say that some people should take breaks. And the problem here is I've got to get this further away. It's not just a case of putting it here, because if I put it there, that's no good either. And I can't put it here because that's wrong. I need to be able to build one here, and then pivot one here. It almost makes sense that you would potentially just have it make all these connections and all these straight lines, and then later on connect the other parts. Like, yes, I could not extend this, put it here, then extend it, and it would connect there, which is wrong. I could put it up here, and that would be wrong also. I can't pivot this in any other way. I can't move 2 steps in some weird way. At the core of this code has just failed. I mean, it could work, but it feels like you're gonna struggle to make it work so much. When I just don't know if it's necessary. Let's see. Let's just make a copy here. And let's say efficiency be damned. We're gonna put one here. We're going to have this one. Pick up a piece here. And just be ready to rotate. Pick up, rotate, extend, extend, extend. And so this second code and second arm is just all going to be about doing the extensions. So theoretically now, all I need to do is have code that would pick up things and put it where I want it. Okay. This code, we'll put one pivot here, and then this code. Okay. Pretty much as soon as there's a combination, I think we might be able to pivot back maybe as quickly as that. Main thing here though is instead of doing all of this, I want to now be able to put another one here. And I don't know how that works. Yeah. Because it just kind of doesn't feel like it does work. So let's try that again. Instead of going plus here, we will simply have it pivot there. And I feel like what you probably want to do is pick another one up and put it backwards like this. And I don't know if this really is doing anything more than what we were doing before, but we'll see. Minus, and then just like 4 rotations this way, and then a reset. Let's see if that works. I'm not wearing out my voice now, not even really saying much. just need another minus. Why is this not working? Because these need to be pluses, not minuses. Here's the problem though, we're gonna have to hand off the gold piece so number one can grab it. I think at this point though you are in kind of a weird position where I probably needed to put one here and then one there first. That one. See if that works better. Nope. I suppose nothing really stops me from simply grabbing one first. After this rotation, just grabbing one. Maybe even before the rotation. My brain is mush at this point. Pick up one. Rotate. Two. Let's see. Alright, so then pick up one. Rotate two. I don't even think I can make it at this point. I don't. We're 3 hours into this. Even if I could show that there was actual logic behind this code, I don't know if I've written enough code here to like potentially just repeat. To even make a full single build. It's completely insanely unmanageable. Just panning and panning to more and more code. And I don't think I'm so off base that I'm thinking of solutions that are just completely out of the box. If I was thinking of solutions that were completely out of the box at a certain level, then you would expect to see a situation where I was getting either really poor scorings on the histograms or really good scorings on the histograms, and neither one of those really feels like that's the case. See how that works. Okay. So my only hope is that 2 pivots here are what are needed. But I suspect that's not really the case. Nope. It wouldn't be 2 pivots. It would be different code. Just more different code. Yeah. And you can see the repeat here is going through an entire screen width. Let's see if we can stop this at a certain point and just see if we evaluate. Could we do that? Could we do that? Could we do that? I needed to stop it earlier. Could we build something here and here? Yes. But then we would have to spin it and pivot it, and when it pivoted, would you be repeating the code at that point? Which is maybe a question about maybe we don't need to build this part at all. Like at some point you need to build that part, but could you build just a triangle here? Sort of, but in a weird way. Like, to get the triangle to work, you need this to connect to this, and then you need something different. Would this help? And it might triple things up, certainly. But is there another angle at which this makes sense? Maybe here. But then how do you get your center connected part? Like if you told me this was more efficient to connecting things later on, I mean, you effectively have the same thing there. But this one skips one, always. So this might help a little bit, but I don't think it helps much further than that. You could possibly have this. And that might create more connections. And maybe that's the problem that I'm running into, is that I need to use something like this. So if we put this here, then we built this one and this one and this one, it wouldn't do anything much for us. We could put one here, we could put one here. We could build a connected part and then pivot. But then that pivoted part here wouldn't really connect to that. Pivot, then put a piece here. And then at that point, I mean, it kind of feels like you don't need this if that's the case. You may just need this. Which probably also means you don't need this. And you just need this. That's the case. Don't do that one. Instead, do that one. Then do that one with a pivot. Then get rid of this code, and let's see if this alone is enough. But I really need to just abandon this. I need to abandon the attempt, sleep on it, and come back, or rage quit. Take your pick. Like, I'm not quite ready to rage quit, but I will say I am getting closer than I probably should be. All these programming games tend to be fairly frustrating, but this one's really taking the cake. Okay. Let's see if this works. If it is, even though you have a ridiculous amount of code, it's going to be fairly manageable. Looks like this might work. So we'll put in, I guess, 3 more bits of code. 3 more repeats. No way is this going to be efficient really in size or space or gold or anything. But it would be insane to write the code back so it used only 1 arm at this point. It'd be insane to try and write the code to be more efficient using this as a base. I think there's probably a different thought pattern that could be followed. Otherwise, see, I really wish there was a way to speed this whole process up. I think I've finally gotten it 3 hours and 12 minutes into this recording, but I still have to write the code to grab it and drop it. And ideally, I would want to try and save some money. Alright, we've got it. So, if we're trying to save money, then 1, 2, 3. While that's spinning, this one should be set back to where it is, and it should be then rotating 2, extending, grabbing, rotating, and then resetting. And we'll just put that there so we don't crash. We'll go ahead and get rid of this part. And I think we can get rid of this part. And it fairly seems like we can get rid of that part. Yeah. We could definitely save some cycles by having this here instead. I think we just need this back. But yeah, definitely could rewrite the code so everything used this one arm. It would be a nightmare. Definitely could write the code so that you started here instead, and it would take up less cycles. So what's not connecting here is there needs to be a connection here. Which, okay. I think that's easy enough to fix. Let's go ahead and mark areas where we're wasting space. We won't bother to mark areas that I think you probably would have to use. Okay. So that is going to fix the connection that was missing. And I guess you can jump into steps when you get later. So I guess if you're fast enough on the mouse click, yeah, 1, 2 is all you need. So we'll get rid of that, get rid of that. Release. And yeah, I think that's it. And if it's right, and if it works, I will take it. 36 area to kind of start with. Jumps up to 44 area later on, 48. There we go. One slight problem that this shouldn't be a release, this should be a reset. Otherwise we're done. Now, how would you speed this whole process up? Because you only have 1 gold and 1 sodium reagents. So it's not as simple as just mirroring it on the bottom and doing the same. More likely what you would want to do is mirror it on the opposite side, so that you're building twice as much of the surface. We're doing 1/6 of it if you did 1/3 of it in each cycle. That would be my guess as to how you would go for some optimization. And then it is just going to be some fairly basic things about taking as many of these salts as fast as possible and getting them to be in a spot where they need to be. Right now we have 3 spots that are being filled in at once. There's, I think, a possibility here that you could fill in more faster. But again, I just couldn't care about this puzzle enough to do that. Or any of the puzzles in this game. I've once again pretty much forgotten all the previous puzzles too. I just wiped them from my mind for fear of the seizures they might induce otherwise. I'm joking there, but yeah. Unlike other programming cases, often when I'm real world programming, like I'm thinking about the programming, I sometimes have even dreamt about programming, not that it's actually helped write any actual code. But yeah, in this case, I totally just forget about it. So we're doing 53. I suspect 50 might be the least amount of area. As far as cost, there are 2 steps that are cheaper, which, I mean, that's not super surprising in any way. Like, you could, since this is the same angle, remove this and save some money, and then write more code so that you would just shift everything on a track this direction further, like in that way. For space, obviously you get rid of these 3 spaces and this space too, and you just put the item here. For money, obviously you get rid of this too. Is there any other way you could possibly save some space? There might be. Like, the way this builds, this is saving you 1, 2, 3 spaces here, but if you were to, say, use this instead, this might be closer to 4 or 5 spaces it saves you. Or you do something closer like this, so it is here Would that save you more spaces? Or cycles? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a slightly better layout. Yeah. That this probably does use a little bit less space. See if we can kind of confirm that. Yeah, you're using about 4 spaces here, and then this swoops in and saves the day for the rest of that, where it would be 6 spaces otherwise. You would have to move the track around a little bit so that you could move this into position, into the right position, if that's the case. Instead of here. And that seems like that's still 4 if you did it that way. Seems like it would still be 4 if you did it that way. So yeah, space probably could be saved by rewriting your code to do that, if I cared, which I don't. So the story concludes, I'm sure of it now, alchemists believe far too strongly in their own abilities. Perhaps you could inform your colleagues of your new conclusion. A quaint notation. They never let me lecture at the university, not in my state. And it's not a message they'd want to hear. That's a shame. Outside views are important to consider. Which arguably, this once again is pushing that narrative that change and not sticking to old traditions is a good thing, which I agree with, but Concordia Liam is really the wrong person to make that argument, and so is Anataeus, and it's the bad guy of the story that is also making that argument. Outside views, yes. I'm quite far from the center of alchemical engineering today. Strange to think how quickly that happened. Perspective requires distance, doesn't it? Alright. And that was a timing crystal. It really looked exactly like a flare, too. It's just like the exact same shapes. And I think inherently that kind of shows there's a problem with Opus Magnum as a game, is being on the hex grid, having a limited number of components and reagents. Everything is going to kind of look the same, and it is just going to be a collection of shapes. Clearly, at some early alpha point in developing this game, they just had puzzles to make shapes, and then they wrote a story around that concept. Not the other way around, which is the right way to make a video game, but it is fairly obvious at this point that that's what happened. Anyways, I have gone way too long. That was very frustrating. Not satisfying to finish either. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.